So I am a teacher, and I do a lot of stuff that has to do with kids, so we're not going to start a talk like this. So the first thing that we do when we go to a classroom, and we're the last class, and it's math, the first thing that we do is that I make this weird sound, which I'm going to make right now. It's done, whoop, whoop, and then you guys go ballistic and start screaming and clap, okay? So we're going to do that. So we bring all those people out there that are just, not doing anything, and we're going to bring them in here by doing this, okay? So here we go. Whoop, whoop! About. Okay, so I am an ex-military cryptologist, and I'll explain what that is. But in a sense, we just put information into context, right? So if I'm going to teach you about context, let me do that sound again inside context. I'm about to teach you about advanced physics. Woo woo! Oh yeah, no, right? It gets a little weird when you put it into context, right? But what I'm about to tell you is that what I do, my life purpose, what drives me, is that I get first graders to do that. I get first graders to learn about physics and calculus and all this stuff that we don't really like because we just don't know how they work. But I get them to do this because they're so excited to be in my classroom because they get to scream, because they get to break things, because they get to be children, right? So why am I going to tell you if your business is smarter than a third grader? Because we have lost some of the capacities and abilities that children have that empower us as human beings, therefore our missions, our capacities, and our dreams in order to build these great businesses that we all want to build. So all of you here want to make these great things happen. But a lot of the things that you needed in order to get there, you lost them a long time ago. Wow, that just got bad. Okay, so second, this is called behaviorism. So when I do whoop whoop, you guys are going to clap. When I say wow, you're going to do it with me, okay? Wow. We're going to do that together. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Why do we do this? We're conditioning ourselves to at some point, demand ourselves to get into a certain stage. Kids do this all the time, right? But how do we do it to them? We do it in a bad way. Sit down, and they sit. Be quiet, and they make silence. Instead of doing something like music, right? But we don't do that. We tell them, shut up. They sit down and they make silence. Well, you know what? We have lost the ability to tell people and employees, clients, everyone in the world, to drive them towards our mission, because instead of saying, let's be silent together and let's enjoy this moment, we say, be quiet, even though we don't intend to. And we do that to clients, and we do that to our employees, and we do that through people through the internet. Why? Because sometimes we just completely forget how we learned the most important and valuable things of all of our lives. The things that we learned when we were in third grade. So, just to put all of this in context, there is this first grader, great first grader. Let me show you how smart a third grader can be. So I'll talk about a first grader. This first grader, she told me once, so just to clear this up in my mind, when I trip and fall, like I just trip and fall all over the place, I become full of neutrons, right? Electrons, sorry. I get full of electrons, right? And I look at her and I look at all the other teachers, and I'm about to call their parents, like, who told her this? Like, who's talking to this girl about electrons, and why does she think that when she falls to the ground, she gets full of electrons? This is something, it's complex. So I ask her, no, that's not how it works. But tell me how did that came to be? Who told you this? Well, I mean, you told me that energy works, because I do teach first grade physics and complex math and stuff like that, because that's what they want to know. They don't care about your adding and subtracting. They care about what adults do, because they find it fun. We call it work. That's our problem. So she tells me, I remember you telling me that energy works like there's this, protons that are, positive energy, and there's, neutrons, and there's electrons, which are the negative energy. When I fall to the floor, I get really, really, really sad. And I get really, really, really sad, I probably get full of electrons. Is that how it works? Obviously, everyone in the classroom laughed. She laughed too, but she didn't know why she was laughing. And I laugh because it maybe doesn't make logical sense, but it made sense to her. And it let her it allowed her to be receptive to something that's way beyond her age. And I was able to explain to her how this worked. And you know, after I did all that talk, you know what she said? Oh, so this whole energy thing, it just changes. It doesn't end. What was that again? Say it again. Say it loud so those PhDs can hear you. Say it loud, say it loud. It changes. It doesn't end. Oh, so you're talking about loss. You're talking about, matter and energy change. They transform, right? You're saying that, but you're not saying it in the way that the book wants you to say it, but you know this and you're in first grade. Imagine what I have to say about a third grader. But before I get too deep into that and make ourselves all go into, depression, let's start. Let's talk about what these kids do that makes them and us, if we keep those things going in our life, amazing. So, let's go. First thing, divergent thinking. Just to give you a little heads up, there's 11 things, because children are overachievers. We normally say 10 steps to cooking perfect rice. Well, there's 11 things that kids do that are just so awesome that if we kept them, we will be better at everything that we do, especially business. Divergent thinking. This is the capacity, and you lose this as time goes by, as you get more educated, you lose this and it becomes less frequent in your life, the capacity to think divergently. God, that's like bad description. So it's like looking at something and finding different uses for it. There is a test that says that a child with 5 years old can find approximately, if given the time and no rules, can find around 200 uses for a hairpin. As you grow and you reach adulthood, or 18 years old plus, you're able to find 50 in the same amount of time. The only difference between those two people is that they got educated. And this is not something that I said. If you watched Sir Ken Robinson's talk about how schools kill creativity, you've heard this before. So this is something that we are not able to do in terms of our business because we have lost the ability to play. We completely forget about this concept of playing. You don't play with your product because you can break it. Come on. You don't play with your clients because they're your clients. And none of that makes any sense. You should play with your product because you can break it. Because that shows you how it breaks. It shows you when it breaks. It shows you so much about what you did with it and how much sense it makes. Because you can play with it. The ability to play, it is the number one learning process in terms of how we are wired to learn in everything. There is absolutely no better learning process in here than playing. And as we get older, playing is not so cool. We don't do it anymore. We don't play. We don't go out. And I'm not talking about going to play soccer. I'm talking about experiencing in a way that you can really enjoy, something that makes sense to you. Also, play mode has something very important. When you turn that on, kids go into hero status. What's hero status? Who here has children? Who has children? Who here has, a child between, 8 years old, somewhere in there in your life, your daughter or someone that has, very young kid. What do they have that's important when they go into play? None of them are the evil guy, right? No one. They never say, so you're going to be the bad guy, and I'm going to be the good guy. No, they're always the good guy. And even if they're playing the bad guy, they always turn good, and they always win. Kids always win. They don't visualize the possibility of them being the bad guy because they just don't feel comfortable with the idea of losing. We do. We're very comfortable with that. Our products are never the hero in our client's life. They're just a consequence of a need. That's not how kids work. They don't say, I can't run. They hope that they can fly, right? So they don't say, if you tell a child, don't run, what do? They want to run. Why? Because you are inherently triggering the most important human reflex in the universe. Which is it? Learning. Why can't I run? You never tell me. Therefore, I want to learn. Therefore, I want to run. And you call it misbehavior. I call it learning. You did something in here that you shouldn't. It's your fault. You don't like me running? Don't tell me not to run. Tell me we should walk here. It makes a lot more sense. Right? Heroes have let's do it rules, while evil guys or, in the bad misbehaving kids have don't do rules. Then you have this. Kids always nail it. That right there, it's a majestic lion. Look at it. It's gorgeous, right? She nailed it. This is a real drawing, by the way, in an activity that I did. This child looks at this, and they see the lion. You're the one that has lost the creativity to see the fur. It's there, somewhere in there. What am I trying to portray to you? Your businesses have to feel proud about their MVPs, about their minimum viable products, about whatever they do that they take to a client. They have to feel extremely proud. If you go to a client, the first thing you say, this is just a prototype. Just look at it, but it's just a prototype. You are ashamed of what you're building. Your passion and what you're building is not important enough to overstep that level that has to do with your arrogance and your interest in having that client assess what you do as worthy. No. Take it to them as something that you're nailing. It's amazing. It's something that's, extremely important. It's gorgeous. It's the best thing out there, and that's why I'm making it, because I'm that rock star that made it, that nailed it. So kids don't have this idea where it's wrong to try. They might get better by trying a lot, but at this point, they nailed it, and they're very proud. You can do it. There you go. But I want it. Kids say this consistently, right? But I want it. Yeah, I want it. And you tell them, no, you can't. But I want it. And they say it as it's the most important reason why they should get it. They don't say, well, there's this P&L thing here, and it justifies the need for this implementation. No. They say, but I want it. You're telling me no, but it has to happen because I want it. What am I trying to portray with this? We lose this sight that guides us to the idea that when we are starting to try to change the world, our passion is enough justification to try. Write that down if you want to. I'm not saying because I said it, but because that's something that a lot of your faces just make this, I don't think about this. Yes. You completely forget. You lose the sight that your passion should be enough justification to embark on this journey. It should be enough. And your passion has to do, if your passion has to do with changing somebody else's life for the better, it is justified. It is fantastic. It has nothing to do with cost or opportunity or loss or risk. It has to do with your passion because you want it. You want the world to be like so. And I'm not saying this to motivate you. I'm not Deepak Chopraing you and all that stuff. I'm trying to be clear to you about abilities that we've lost because we just don't see it that way. I don't want to. I've heard this in the last 2 days in so many random ways that it's not clear like this. So, I have this education innovation firm. Would you like to have a meeting with me? Oh, I have this thing going on that I have to, write this Excel charts and all that stuff. Say no. You don't want to. It's fine. And if you want to, feel excited about it. You need to be able to do this whenever you're talking with your team about developing new strategies or new products or pivoting or all that stuff that we like to talk about. I don't want to is an important, clear skill that we don't have when we become entrepreneurs. We start telling people reasons why we don't instead of saying that is not something that is aligned with what I'm trying to achieve. When your client or you're doing consulting and your client says, well, we need to make these changes here and there, you don't tell them no, not because you want the money. That's not the reason. You think that you're doing it because, I'm just trying to make that money and it's going to help me grow the company and it's just a necessary evil. No, you don't do it because you're not in sync with yourself enough to say this does not follow the vision that we put together. And I should not lose a client because of my vision. Oh, yes, you should. Oh, yes, you should. And that client will respect this and might be able to temper what they need into what you're trying to give them. I know that sounds counterintuitive into services, but it happens. You're not going to go to Coca-Cola and tell them we're going to make a healthy soda. You don't just do that. That's just not part of what they're trying to achieve. They're trying to make people happy, and that's another goal. If you're the one trying to make people happy, and somebody comes with a soda, and you don't think about, if you don't want to align yourself with that, that's on you. It's not on them, right? So this is a skill that we need to come back to, be able to say, you know what, I would rather not have you come in today and to talk about this. Let's have this later. That's the way to do this. That's the way to do this. Kids do this all the time. And those of you who have kids or know about kids know that they're very good at telling you no. Wow. Let's do it again. Remember that? Wow. You guys are completely asleep. So let's do this other thing. Since we're still awake and we're alive and we're here, woo woo! Yes. Okay. You're alive, you're here. I see some smiles. Don't say you love it. You haven't had it in a while, so it's okay. You haven't clapped in a while. When was the last time you clapped that you actually were told this is a moment where you can enjoy it? Not when some speaker finishes and you feel responsible. You're doing it right now because, if I do it, it's going to be okay. If I don't do it, nobody's going to blame me, but you get to scream. It's pretty cool, isn't it? This wow thing, we call it the wow factor. I don't care if my clients are completely satisfied by what I give them in regards to service. I care if they're wowed by it. I care about the moment when they look at it and they cannot control the bodily functions. That's what I care about. When they look at me and they're, how did you do this? Oh, yes, I did. That's what I want. Because that goes back to hero status, that goes back to play mode, that goes back to I don't want to be mediocre, and that has to do a lot with this is what I want in my life and I'm going to get it, but I want it. I want you to be extremely happy and as proud and as interested in what I do as I am. So I want you to be part of this, not me to be part of that. So hopefully I'll be able to continue. There you go. Cuteness factor. Kids have this, and it's a sell point. This is their marketing way. This is the way they market things to you. They go and say, I really, really, really want this brownie. I really want it. No, but I want it. No, but I want it. No. Come on. How much is it? And when you say that, how much does it cost? They know they got you, right? So how do they embark on this journey? They start figuring out that they have an asset that is not tangible, that they can present to you that can relate to their goals. That is called marketing, regulations, and promotions, right? They're able to do this, and we lose this because we are ashamed to say we are a nonprofit. So that has value. We're ashamed to say we're a team of Puerto Rican entrepreneurs, and that has value. We're ashamed of that. We just want it to be all about the product. No, you have a story, and you need to embark on it. I found a crayon, therefore I wrote. Therefore I doodled, right? Kids pick up a crayon and they don't care about your walls. They don't care about it. They care about the crayon because the crayon empowers them to doodle. Gives them the power to do that. So you are aiming towards thinking that obviously they shouldn't do this because the wall is not for writing. They don't care about the wall. They don't have the wall in their hands. What they have in their hands is a crayon. The crayon empowers them to draw. Therefore, they draw. That's the capacity that we need to go back to. Stop caring about the wall for a moment. Care about the crayon. Maybe we can do some better than writing on the wall, but the floor is pretty big, so let's go on the floor. It doesn't matter as long as you think about the crayon more than you think about the wall. Take risk. Kids will tell you, they will tell you, I am extremely afraid of that broccoli. Therefore, I will not eat it. But they will not tell you that they're scared about driving a car or getting in a roller coaster or putting their finger in an outlet. They're not scared about stuff that they should logically be extremely scared of. They're not. They're scared about trivial things, insignificant things, maybe at our level. But for things that are huge, things that are fantastic, things that would be really complex to achieve, they're not scared of that. They're just not. It doesn't mean that they won't be able to do it. They see themselves completing it. They see themselves completing the task, and they aim for it. So that's something that empowers and validates them. But why? Parents here know that this is one of those things that irks us all the way down, right? But why? But why? But why? But this happened, and then we need to go to San Francisco. But why? Because this happened. But why? And stuff. They want to know. It is part of their thought process and learning process to figure out why. We need to be able to do that. Not only how do we get this to the client, why do we get it to the client? Why do they want this? Why is it a problem? And the extra one, this is the 11th one, show some love. Kids only show love when they want to, only show love when they want to, and as long as they want to. That is the type of relationship that you need to have with your client. You give them love when you want to, and it should be most of the time, and as long as you want to. You are able to tell your clients, this is enough love for now, go ahead and spread the word about this being great and come back and then I'll hug you again. It's perfectly okay. You don't need to be continuously all over your client in order for them to be part of your story. They get to go away and spread the word too. So I'm trying to go really fast here. This is the name of my company. Long story short, I'm an education innovation nonprofit. We're an organization that cares about the personalization of education all over the world. We want every single child to, the same way that you pick your clothes and you pick your breakfast, we want them to be able to pick their education. So this is something that we're doing out from Puerto Rico. It's a great journey, and we want you to join us. So I have a lot of cards with me, and but you want it, so go ahead and ask for it, and I'll be right here. Hopefully, I don't know if I get time to ask questions. I really would like to. But thank you so much for your time and attention, and that's about it. Thank you.